When you put a legendary name on a new vehicle, you feel a certain responsibility. It has to live up to its past and raise the bar on its future. And when the name is Bronco, well, that's a pretty high bar. That's why we're doing everything in our power to ensure that Bronco delivers. All the wild places our customers may take it, we're going to go there first, because Bronco's not just a vehicle, it's a way of life. It's ready.
There is a beauty and grace to an American assembly plant that you really can't find anywhere. Don't let the noise fool you. Putting a new car together takes as much grace as a ballet and as much planning as a rocket launch. The American automotive plant, up and running, hard at work, that is a true sight to be seen. And that sound you hear right now, it is the return of a legend. Hello, everyone. I'm Sonari Glinton, and I'm the host of the podcast, Bring Back Bronco. I'm a Ford baby. My mother worked at Ford for 30 years. I worked my way through college at a plant just like this one. Actually, my mom's best friend, Cassandra Smith, like another mother to me, she worked here as well, back when it was known as Michigan Truck Plant. These walls hold a lot of history, but this is a place with a future, a place of innovation. And nowhere is that more evident than the modification center where I'm standing now. This is where Bronco modification happens, the made-to-order modifications that make each Bronco unique. When Ford decided to bring the Bronco back, the decision was made to write the next chapter where the Bronco saga began. To help us understand the intersection of the history of this place and the innovation that still happens here, there is no better person to talk to than Ted Ryan. He's the head archivist here. He has one of the most fascinating jobs in the auto industry. Help me understand the significance of a place like this.
Ford has been here for almost 70 years now. In 1952, the first plant was built on this site. And McKinley Thompson, was the first African-American automobile designer in Detroit. And he came to work from Ford directly out of Design College. And he was the one that penned the very first sketch of the Bronco. One of the earliest planning documents actually had GOAT, G-O-A-T, abbreviated on the top of the document because it goes over all types of terrain vehicle. The original Bronco entered in the 60s, which was a halcyon period of Ford design. We introduced the Mustang in 1964, the Bronco in 65, and the Bronco was going to be something different. It was going to be an off-road vehicle, but it was also going to be a great city driver as well. It was a different proposition from what was available on the market at the time.
Okay, so let's fast forward 5 decades. Why bring the vehicle back in the same place where it started?
It's investment to bring the most modern manufacturing processes to build these vehicles. And that's one of the things I love about Ford and Ford history, is that we've always invested in our future by investing in our plants and investing in our people. The DNA of the original Broncos shows up in every one of these current Broncos because it's the pride, it's the passion, it's the off-road, wonderful feeling of it coming full circle.
Well, thank you so much for bringing this moment full circle for me. Ted, my favorite people in the world are archivists, and you're definitely one of my favorites. Thank you for sharing all these stories with me.
Oh, thank you for having me here to tell my stories.
Always a pleasure. Every great comeback story has a hero, and in this case, we have several. We start with Mark Gruber. He's been the chief instigator of what's become known as the Bronco Underground. Now, Mark and a whole group have kept the flame alive for all these years. And when Ford was ready to start bringing back the Bronco, Paul Wraith was tapped to head the design team. Now is the fun part of the story of bringing back Bronco, the design and production. As somebody who's got to keep planning cars 3, 4, 5, 10 years ahead of time that people will want then, how did you keep your perspective?
You start off by trying to understand what the customer's all about, what the history of the vehicle's about, and having a vision is really critical. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get anywhere. So trying to balance those values of the old and the quest for improvement in the future.
Well, Mark, I got to say, you were part of such a passion. You spent, it's nearly 30 years for you to bring this vehicle back. Why was that such a passion for you?
I'm a fourth generation at Ford. My family, over 100 years of service to Ford. I grew up in Dearborn. I literally started on the same day, June 12th, 1996, that Bronco went out of production.
Now, what do you guys, what do you see as the future?
We obviously hope it's going to be a great success. I hope that over time, actually, that the vehicles transform and grow and develop with the families that they will be with.
When you get this assignment, how do you instill in people or in the vehicle, this idea of the carefree spirit?
I mean, I love the fact that we can take the roof off really easily, right, and take the doors off really easily. And the vehicle presents itself as being super open. And for me, that's a very carefree thing. It feels liberating being in the vehicle when it's like that.
And Mark, I have to say, in a way, I feel a little bit sad for you. It's like you're kind of like the dog that caught the fire engine.
Before we started it, there was a lot of doubters that, is Ford really going to do a new Bronco? If they're going to do it, are they going to do it right? Are they going to screw it up? And I think the response really is that validation of, hey, Ford really did it right. Just great satisfaction for the team that how hard we worked to overcome all the obstacles that we got it right.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. I appreciate this. Now, planning and jockeying in the boardroom and design studio only takes you so far. Somebody's got to actually build this vehicle, this utility, this horse. This plant, these walls, they are nothing without the people who filled them. And because Ford is bringing Bronco back right where it began, there are going to be more than 2,000 more auto workers right here. Built for America at 2 retooled and revamped plants, and that means billions of dollars of investment in the future of this vehicle, this plant, and most importantly, these workers. We have the leaders of those workers right here with me, and I'm proud to introduce Eric Williams, who is the plant manager at Michigan Assembly, Greg O'Neill and Scott Elliott. They're the leaders of the UAW. Proud to be with you guys. Now, just given the history of this plant, this is kind of a comeback facility, would you say?
When I started in '97, they just phased out the Bronco a couple years earlier, and I was kind of disappointed because I wanted a Bronco. That was my dream vehicle to get from a Ford Motor Company perspective, right?
Having worked here for nearly 30 years, what is this moment like?
With us building the Ranger and Bronco, it totally changes the game for not only as leaders, but for the entire membership, because now they're building vehicles that Ford Motor Company depended on in the past and now depend on in the future.
Greg, help me understand the investments that Ford is making.
The announcement was $500 million to the site, right? I can tell you in the stamping facility as we speak right now, we are redoing press lines, and revamping press line 3 is getting us more work for our UAW brothers and sisters.
Well, Eric, this is an historic plant. How does this, the setup of the facility now compare to, say, what it was like in 1966 when the first Broncos were coming out of here?
But the fundamental difference between the times is the amount of technology from the stamping department all the way till a vehicle rolls off the line. The amount of technology involved with ensuring and interfacing with the workers in order to make sure customers are satisfied and we're delivering a quality vehicle. Being a Detroit native and living in Detroit right now, it really resonates with me, the meaning of this vehicle being built here and the future hopes and dreams of people associated with building this vehicle.
When we have these new hire orientations, we explain to them, hey, these jobs are like hitting the lottery because it's gonna change your life. You don't have to work 2 jobs anymore. You're gonna come in to an environment where you're gonna make a living wage, medical benefits, and at some point in time, you're gonna be able to buy what you build.
Eric Williams, Greg O'Neill, Scott Elliott, I really appreciate you. Now, there is a theme that I keep running into involved with this story. It's the universal time. It's not just looking back at the history of this vehicle, but looking forward to what people will do with it. How will it look on the road years from now? We all have stories about that neighbor's Bronco that's been his or her pride and joy for years. And when the ignition turns on, it ignites and rumbles as crisp and clean as the day it rolled off the factory floor. Well, to make a vehicle that reliable, it takes skilled workers. Generations have not just built cars and trucks here, they've built lives, a community, and a nation. That incredible legacy lives on in the bodies of these folks right here with me, all proud members of the United Auto Workers and builders of the all-new Ford Bronco. It is such a great honor to be here with some of the women and men who helped to make this comeback possible with their skill and profession. Joining me now are Jerry Feeman-Veldoff is an auditor, David Tarosian is the plant engineering manager, Kurt Sova is the head carpenter, and Olin Price is also an auditor. Thank you all for coming out and making this comeback possible.
Thanks for having us.
So, Jerry, I worked in a plant much like this one, and then because my mom worked at Ford and she got me a job, you kind of have a story like that with your children, right?
2 of my 3 children work for Flat Rock Ford Assembly. They're both in an apprenticeship program right now.
An apprenticeship program is that they work to learn the trade, right? Or
Yes, my daughter she's going to apprentice school to be an electrician. And my son who is also going to apprenticeship school to become a hydraulic tradesman.
I would guess that possibly one of the best jobs in a plant is to be a skilled trades worker, right?
Yes.
And speaking of, you have an even greater connection to the Bronco because you collected one, and somewhere behind us is a Bronco that you helped to restore.
Yeah, I've collected Broncos since 2009. I actually have 14 of them.
14? Are they all running?
More than half of them. 3/4 of them are, and some are in project mode.
What makes you commit so much of your life to this brand of vehicle?
Everybody, if you're driving a Bronco, it's thumbs up. They want to see it. They want to take pictures of it. And that's why when I seen the design that they did, these based off the early ones, Ford, they knocked it out of the park. It's just the best design I think that they could possibly come up with, because it's just the coolness factor that everybody wants in a vehicle.
You worked here in '94 on the old Ford Bronco. What is it like to be working on a new one?
I'm excited about coming in first with the Bronco, built it a couple of years, and then switched over to the Expedition. But now for this to be coming back, it's no feeling like it.
And Dave, I hear that you were about to retire. What brought you back?
The Bronco, it's an iconic vehicle. I mean, from the old Broncos to the new Broncos, I mean, it's special because, as everybody says, it brings out the excitement.
Thanks, everyone. Congratulations on this incredible accomplishment. Broncos aren't the vehicle that you hide in a garage to occasionally dust off the fingerprints. What's the point of all of this hard work? These machines were built by folks like these to be driven. And based on the number of people who've already reserved a Bronco, it looks like there will be a lot of work here. Luckily, it is pretty easy to get behind the wheel. Customers can go to Ford.com, click on the Bronco logo, and start building their own Bronco. Pick the model, color, sound system, wheels, racks, lights. Fair warning, you can spend hours exploring the many options available. Now, once you figured it out, you can put down a refundable $100 deposit, call your local Ford dealer, who will help you complete the purchase. That's when the accessories team gets to work on customizing your Bronco with every choice you made on the website. Now, all of those accessories can be added right here in the Mod Center. This is where skilled craftsmen fit out Broncos with accessories and configurations for each individual customers. And they do that all under direction of this man right here, Mark Wilson. When I hear people talk, I've talked to a lot of people recently about Broncos, and they don't actually talk about Broncos, they talk about their Bronco. What do you think is behind that?
Bronco is really a team that likes to talk about modifying their vehicles, making them their own.
And I think a part of it is about the flexibility. Am I right about that?
It is. And with Bronco, we've really designed in flexibility in the vehicle from all aspects of it. You look at the roof of the vehicle, the base roof can come up. We've got like 3 or 4 different roofs that you can put on the vehicle. The doors are removable. Heck, even the fenders, both front and rear, are removable. So you can really customize this vehicle any way that you want.
How many accessories do you put on the car here?
So we've got over 230 accessories right now, and there's more to come in the future.
Is every one of the Broncos the same when they get to you to be modified?
So far, I haven't seen the same two vehicles come down the line. So I'd say at this point, no. They're each individualized, even when we get them.
Thank you for taking a breather with me. I'll let you get back to those Broncos.
Thank you.
As you can see, from start to finish, the Broncos rolling out today have been the product of a massive team effort. Teams, though, need a captain, and in this case, it's Jim Farley. He knew that a name, even a legendary one, only gets you so far. The designers at Ford needed to find out what a new Bronco owner would want, and a part of that is about listening to customers and treating them like a part of the family. So we had a little family gathering online, 2021 style, with Jim Farley and some of the newest members of the Bronco family.
Nice to see all of you. I drove in my 1973 Bronco, totally stock, 58,700 miles. And it's in very good shape. It's all original with dealer over fenders and dealer installed air conditioning, which I had to redo. The auxiliary gas tank over the weekend. So yeah, that's my daily driver. It's sitting down in the garage. For us car people in the company, we always wanted to do a Bronco. The first iteration was way too modern, in my opinion. And I think we have it right now. And I didn't want it to be an overly modern vehicle.
As you say, we put our customers at the forefront of everything that we do, and we have reservations holders here. And I was wondering if you would ask them a couple of questions.
Yeah. So Mitch, my question for you is, how are you going to make the new full-size Bronco your own?
But just to kind of make it different, I'm probably going to wrap it and then taking it off road, wheeling hard with it, seeing, what we can do with it and filming all of it. So I think it's going to be fun. So.
Well, thank you, Mitch, for your reservation. We really appreciate it. There's a lot of families at Ford that depend on families like yours. So thank you. Jake, I know you have a Bronco for every generation, which is pretty amazing. Do you have a favorite? And what do you think of the new model?
Well, I have 5 kids too. So to ask me, which of my 5 children are my favorites, you have to be careful with that question. So this new Bronco not only brings kind of the look and the feel that we love so much of the classic Bronco, but it's going to bring, Ford's new technology, safety features.
Totally. Makes perfect sense. Cassie, so I have to ask you, I know you do a lot with your dad. Do you think your dad's going to be jealous?
My Bronco is going to be used as my daily driver. These aren't so much the daily driver, although I do ask him at least once a week, can I drive a Bronco to work? And the answer is going to be no.
Drew.
We're going to get this new Bronco to use it. We're going to use this Bronco the way they were meant to be used. We're going to need to do a lot of off-roading with it. So the plan is to do some overland adventures and four-wheeling with it.
Ours will not just stay parked in the garage. It won't just be on the road. We take our Broncos just like our four-door that we have now. We take it everywhere.
Well, thank you, Amy. And Warren, I'll have to turn to you for the last word.
Here in New Hampshire, we have the Trans New Hampshire Overland Adventure, and we also have the New England portion of the Appalachian Byway. So that drove me to a Badlands.
It's so interesting that each of you, in your own way, you're going to use these vehicles. You're going to create new memories that you don't have today. That's what gets us up in the morning. And I want you to know that you're now officially part of the Ford Motor Company.
Well, Jim, thanks so much for being here today. And it's exciting because the new models are rolling off the line even as we speak.
Thanks for all of you. To all of you. All the very best.
Well, because as the owner of qualified Bronco models, you get a sort of golden ticket. It's an invitation to a once-in-a-lifetime experience called the Bronco Off-Rodeo. Because owning a Bronco isn't just taking a title to a vehicle. You get to join a family of off-roaders, and you can embrace a tradition that's as old as the first Bronco and as new as any undiscovered wilderness just over the ridge.
The UAW workers at the Michigan Assembly Plant have made this Ford baby's dreams come true, and they are hard at work, proudly building the now 6th generation of Broncos, which will soon be united with their new owners. And after 25 years of waiting, I'm pleased to report that Broncos are shipping from this plant to dealers as we speak. So don't get left at the trailhead. If you haven't done so already, head to Ford.com to build and reserve your Bronco 2-door or Bronco 4-door right now, because Bronco is back.
Built wild, built for America, and built Ford proud.